Welcome to yoga. Today we will focus on balance poses. Practicing balance poses could help to improve concentration, focus, and attention, as well as aiding in fall prevention, which is important as we all get older and as we prepare to move into winter weather. Practicing balance poses helps to improve our balance. And as we make progress, it can help us to feel more confident and empowered, like we could do anything. And sometimes when our balance poses are more challenging and we may wobble or fall, it gives us the opportunity to learn to be patient and humble. So there are benefits no matter how you experience your practice. So today we will focus on the breath and the gaze and focusing our minds towards stillness to help improve our balance. And we will begin our class today on our backs. So I invite you to be patient with yourself and open to whatever it is you experience today. So making your way onto your backs for our breathing and centering, and we'll begin our balance poses close to the earth, and then we'll move towards standing. So set yourself up on your back with your knees bent and the feet on the floor. And take a moment here to get settled on your mat. Placing the feet hips width apart and bringing the knees together to touch. Inviting the legs to relax. Resting the hands on top of the belly. Bring the upper back and shoulders in contact with the mat to gently open the chest. And lengthen gently through the back of the neck by tucking the chin in slightly. You may wish to close the eyes or gaze very softly. Bring your attention now to the parts of your body that are in contact with the mat. Sensing your connection to the earth. Feeling how the force of gravity supports you. And now focus your breath in and out through the nose. If you're familiar with the Ujjayi breath, you may wish to constrict softly the back of the throat as you make an ocean sound. And if Ujjayi breath doesn't feel right, breathe naturally in and out through the nose. On each inhalation, feeling the belly gently expand as the lungs fill. And as you exhale, drawing the navel towards the spine as you empty the lungs. And continue to breathe in this way, allowing the belly to softly expand as you inhale. And feel the belly gently moving towards the spine as you exhale. Breathing without force or strain. Gently beginning to engage and tone the muscles of the abdomen. And as you breathe, notice where your mind is. And if the mind begins to wander, draw your attention back to the breath. Encouraging the mind to focus on this breath and this moment. And now as we prepare to ease into movement, I'd like to remind you to be kind to your body, feeling free to take a rest or modify, or choose from the options I offer to find what is best for you. Continue to breathe deeply in and out through the nose, releasing the arms by your sides. And very slowly and gently begin to turn the head from side to side, moving with the breath. Exhaling as you look over one shoulder. Inhale back to center, and then exhale, looking over the other shoulder. Loosening up the head and the neck. And the next time the head comes back to center, releasing this movement, straightening the legs along the mat, reaching the arms overhead. And as you inhale, reach long through the fingertips, press out through the feet, and feel the whole body growing longer. And then exhale, relax. And now adjust your right side. Inhale as you reach long through the right arm and the right leg, making the right side of the body longer than the left. And then exhaling, release. And other side. Inhale, reach long through the left fingertips, out through the sole of the left foot, making the left side of the body longer than the right. Exhaling, release. And now bending the knees once again, bringing the arms by your sides. And now we'll give a little stretch to the eyes. So keeping the head still, draw the eyes to gaze up towards the forehead, and then slowly turn the eyes to gaze out the right corners of the eyes. Continue to circle the eyes downward, looking down towards your chest. Circling the eyes to the left, looking at the left corners of the eyes. Continue to breathe as you circle the eyes to look up towards the forehead again. And blink a few times. Open the eyes and look up towards the forehead. And now circling to the left. Slowly circling the eyes around to look out the left corners. Down towards the chest. Out the right corners of the eyes. Up towards the forehead. Gaze to center, close the eyes. Give a little blink. And you could gaze softly or keep the eyes closed now. We'll move on to strengthening the core to help us to prepare to stabilize in our balance poses. So lift the feet off the floor with the knees bent, shins are parallel to the earth. As you next inhale, lower the right toes to just barely touch the floor, and exhale, bringing the shin back parallel to the floor. Inhale, dropping the left toes. Exhale, lifting the left knee back up. Continue to move from side to side, keeping the abdomen engaged as you strengthen the muscles of the core. Moving at your own pace with the breath, inhaling as the toes drop to barely touch the floor. Exhale as you lift the shin parallel to the floor. And one more on each side. And now straighten the legs up in the air. And reach the arms up in the air, the arms extending up from the shoulders. And now we'll lift and lower the opposite arm and leg. So begin by reaching along through the left arm and the right leg. And as you inhale, lower the left arm overhead, lowering the right leg down towards the bottom of your mat, allowing the arm and leg to just graze the floor, and then inhale, coming back to center. Again, inhale as you lower down, exhale as you lift. Moving at the pace of your own breath. And if this doesn't feel right, you could stick with what we did before, keeping just the knees bent and the arms relaxed. And one more on this side, and then we'll move to the other arm and leg. Reaching long through the right arm and the left leg. Inhale as you lower the arm and leg down towards the mat. Exhale, lifting back up in the air. I don't know if you have dogs waking you up where you are, but my dogs are busy right now. And one more here. And lower the knees in towards the chest, placing a hand on each knee. So not everyone is lucky enough to have a completely quiet place to practice yoga. So background noises give us an opportunity to refocus and keep our awareness inside. And now circling the knees, circling on the lower back, releasing the lower back. And release the feet to the floor, feet and knees hip width apart. Walking the feet in as close to the bottom as is comfortable. Again, grounding the shoulders, palms to the floor by your sides. On your next inhalation, lift the hips an inch or so off the mat, and then as you exhale, lower the hips back down to the earth. And again, inhaling, lifting the hips a little higher, and then exhale, lowering the hips back down. And we'll continue to lift and lower at your own pace. And you could challenge yourself to lift the hips a little higher each time. Loosening up and strengthening the spine here. We'll prepare to hold bridge pose. So now the next time that you lift the hips, coming to hold bridge, you might want to lift the hips just a couple of inches away from the mat. Or you may wish to bring the hips in line with the shoulders and the knee. Or if you like, lifting the hips a little bit higher. Bridge pose will help give a stretch to the muscles of the abdomen that we just worked, as well as help to strengthen the spine. So no need to lift as high as you possibly can, but come to a place in bridge where you can hold without strain, keeping the breath flowing. And you may wish to keep the hands by your sides, or if you'd like to go a little further, you can either take hold of the ankles, if you can reach them, or clasp the hands together with the arms straight, wiggling one shoulder blade at a time underneath you, creating a little more opening in the chest and torso. Keep breathing in and out through the nose. If you like, adding the Ujjayi breath. Feel free to adjust as you hold, either moving a little bit more deeply into the pose or backing off. You can always lift and lower or simply release. And holding your bridge pose for one more full deep breath. And preparing to slowly release. So if you pass the hands together, releasing the arms one at a time, lowering one shoulder blade and then the other. And very gradually lowering through the upper back. Lowering through the rib cage. And gradually releasing the hips to the earth. Taking your time, you can slide the feet a little further away. Drop the knees together to touch allowing the legs that have just worked to support you to soften. Take a few deep breaths here in stillness, noticing and receiving these sensations of release. Noticing what you're feeling after practicing bridge pose. And now bending the knees in towards the chest and placing a hand on top of each knee. And begin to rock gently from side to side. So starting off with small movements from side to side and then making the movements larger and rocking all the way over from one side to the other. So rocking all the way to one side, bringing that foot, hip, shoulder, and head all the way to the mat. And then inhale, leading with the top leg. And then as you exhale, roll all the way to the other side, bringing that foot, knee, hip, shoulder all the way to the mat. And continue to rock from side to side, moving with your breath, releasing your spine. And the next time you rock over to whichever side you're heading towards, pause here to rest on your side for a breath or two. And from here, we'll prepare to make our way onto hands and knees, coming into a table position. So press into your hands and shift upward, making your way into table position. So as you come into table, you have the option to rest either on the palms of your hands, on your fists, or rest the forearms to the floor. So you can experiment and see which option feels best for you, or you may wish to start off in one position and then shift around if you need to. So coming onto the hands and knees with the palms, with the wrists right underneath the shoulders if you're resting on your hands. If you're on the hands, spread the fingers wide, pressing into each fingertip and knuckle to take some pressure off of the wrists. A slight bend in the elbows to avoid hyperextension. And lengthen through the spine, extending the tailbone and the crown of the head away from one another. Broaden through the chest and move the shoulders down and away from the ears. Feet and knees are hip width apart. And now we'll circle from the rib cage. So begin by arching and dropping the rib cage towards the mat, and then circle the rib cage over to one side, rounding the spine into cat, circling the rib cage to the other side, and lowering the rib cage towards the mat. So continue to circle in this way from the rib cage. And you can make these circles large or small, moving with your breath. And if you like, you can add the hips, shoulder, head, and neck, allowing the spine to move in an organic way as you loosen up. And now pause here to reverse and move in the other direction. And begin to make the movements a little bit smaller and a little slower. And find your way back to stillness. And now we'll work on stretching the legs and moving into a balance from this position. So extending your left leg back, bringing the ball of the foot to the earth and lifting the heel, and rock forward and back as you stretch out the ankle and the calf, warming and stretching the back of the leg. And now coming to stillness, pressing out through the heel, breathing into the stretch and sensation. Keep lengthening through the head and neck. Keep the shoulders down and away from your ears. As you next inhale, lifting the leg so that the heel is in line with the hip. And circle the foot at the ankle, moving in one direction and now reversing, circling in the other direction. And now pressing out through the heel, engaging that back leg, drawing the navel in towards the spine, and fix your gaze down to the top of your mat, preparing to steady yourself for balance. And now walk the right fingertips towards the front of your mat and gradually lift the arm. And you could always lower the arm down if you feel wobbly and need a break. And we'll strengthen the core a little bit more here. So on your next exhalation, bending the left knee and the right elbow together, and then exhaling, extend long. Again, inhale, bring the elbow and knee towards one another, extend. Inhaling, bend, exhale, extend. Moving at your own pace. And once more, and extend long. And reach long through the fingertips, turning the thumb to point up towards the sky. Reach out through the sole of the foot, and see if you could bring the heel of the left foot, the hip, shoulders, and the right wrist all in one plane, reaching long, breathing, using the core to support you. And you're welcome to move in and out of the balance by releasing the hand down. You could stay here, or if you'd like to try a variation, you could bend the back knee, taking hold of the ankle with the right hand, and lifting that foot a little bit higher. So choose the version that is calling to you. Wherever you are, finding a focal point to fix your gaze, keeping the mind still, and keeping the breath flowing. One more full breath here if that's available. And if you've taken hold of the back foot, extending the arm and leg long once again. Exhale, lowering the hand and knee back to the mat. Breathing. And before we move to the other side, we'll take a little rest in puppy. So keeping the hips lifted above the knees, slide the arms forward. Lower the forehead or chest towards the mat. You might wish to rest the forehead on the mat or allow the head to hover. Turn the palms to face up. Allow the arms and wrists to relax. One more full breath here. And now on your next inhalation, slowly lift yourself back up to table position. We'll prepare now for the other leg. So spread the fingers wide, wrists under shoulders, slight bend in the elbows. Lengthen through your spine. And now extend your right leg back, bringing the ball of the foot to the earth and lifting the heel. Begin to rock forward and back. And now coming to hold, pressing out through the heel. And on your next inhalation, lifting the leg so that the heel is extended in line with the hip. And circle the foot at the ankle. Moving in one direction, and then circle in the other direction. Pressing out through the sole of the foot. Engaging the leg, drawing the navel towards the spine and finding a focal point at the front of your mat. And lift onto the fingertips of your left hand, beginning to walk that hand towards the front of your mat. And then lifting the arm. Reach long through the fingertips, press out through the sole of the foot. And we'll strengthen the core again on this side. Inhaling, bending the elbow and knee together. Exhale, extend long. Inhaling, bend. Exhale, extend. So if this is too much, you could always keep the left hand on the floor and just work with the leg. And once more. And extend that arm and leg long. Keep breathing in and out through the nose, fixing the gaze on the focal point on the floor. You could stay here, or if you like, bending the back knee, taking hold of the ankle and lifting that leg. Wherever you are, keeping the mind calm and clear, keeping the breath flowing. Being patient with yourself if you need to. Take a break or come in and out of the balance. One more breath wherever you are, and if you take hold of the back foot, straightening that arm and leg long once again. And then exhale, slowly lowering back to table. Relax for a breath, noticing how the balance felt on this side compared to the first. And lowering down into puppy once again. Slide the arms forward, lowering the chest or forehead towards the earth. From puppy, we'll make our way into Sphinx pose. So bringing the torso forward as you straighten the legs and lower the belly to the mat and coming to rest on your forearms. Bringing the feet close together with the tops of the feet resting on the mat. Press into the feet, engaging the legs. Press the pubic bone down towards the mat as you lift the navel towards the spine. Broaden through the chest, drawing the shoulders down and away from the ears. And press the elbows slightly towards the ribcage to help open up the chest. Keeping the back of the neck long as you gaze towards the floor in front of you. From Sphinx, we'll move into a modified plank to continue to strengthen and engage the core. Bringing the balls of the feet to the mat. Press into the heels and lift the hips away, bringing the heels, hips, and shoulders in one long line. Keeping the back of the neck long and breathing in and out through your nose. And now exhaling, lowering the hips back down. Releasing the tops of the feet and returning to Sphinx. So we'll move back and forth between these poses again to strengthen the core and stretch the lower back. Bringing the balls of the feet to the floor. Press out into the heels, lifting the hips, keeping the chest open and breathing. So you can hold here for another breath, or you could lower down to Sphinx at any time. And notice how it feels to hold Sphinx after practicing the plank. So moving back and forth once more, making your way into modified plank and holding at your own time. You could challenge yourself to hold a little longer, or you could lower down whenever you need to. And if you haven't already, returning to Sphinx again, breathing. And now exhale, slowly lowering the head and chest to the mat, placing one hand on top of the other, resting the forehead on your hands. And give the hips a little wiggle from side to side to release the spine. And now placing the hands underneath the shoulders, pressing up to table. And from table, making your way to a seated position. And next we'll prepare for a seated balance. So begin by sitting tall with the hands by your sides. Shoulders relaxed, legs extended long. And give the legs a little shake from side to release. And now bending the knees, bringing the feet to the mat. Feet and knees are hips width apart. So we'll prepare next for seated boat. So we'll start off with a gentle version, and then I'll give you some options if you'd like to go a little further. So hands are right underneath the shoulders, pressing the palms into the earth. Lengthen through your spine, lifting the chest, relaxing the shoulders, head and neck in line with the spine. And we'll keep this long spine throughout the practice. So now pull the navel towards the spine as you shift the weight onto the tailbone and lift one leg at a time up off the floor with the knees bent. Breathing. And then exhale, lowering the feet back down. So we'll practice again, and I'll offer you some other options. So again, lifting the chest, relax the shoulders, pull the navel towards the spine. Inhale, lifting one leg at a time off the floor. And you could stay in this version, or for more challenge, you could take hold of the backs of the thighs. You could stay here. You can always take a rest and return to the floor, or you could challenge yourself by straightening the legs, gazing up past the toes, keeping the mind steady and the breath flowing. You like perhaps releasing the arms. And if the legs are straight, bending the knees. Exhaling slowly, lowering the feet back down, straightening the legs, give them a little release. And we'll practice one more time, and you could stay with any of these options, or I'll give you some more options to try. So hands are underneath the shoulders, starting with the feet on the floor and the knees bent. Pull the navel towards the spine as you lift the legs. Legs could stay bent. You take hold of the thighs, straightening the legs. And now you could either release the arms, or if you could reach your toes, taking hold of the toes with the index and middle fingers. And don't worry if you can't reach your toes. You can hold on to your calves or ankles, or just extend the arms long in the air. Keep the chest lifted, keep the core engaged, keep the breath flowing. Finding a focal point to fix your gaze and attention. If you'd like another option, you could open the legs wide. And if you move the legs apart, bringing the legs together once again, holding for another full breath. And returning the hands to the thighs, bending the knees. Slowly lower the feet back down to the earth, release the legs, give them a little shake. Keep breathing, noticing and receiving the effects of the balance postures. So we practice a few balance poses close to the earth, and now we'll move our way towards standing. So moving into a squatting position, feet and knees hip width apart, coming onto the balls of the feet. And from the squat, we'll make our way into a forward fold as you rise to standing. So lowering the heels to the floor, release the crown of the head, keeping a soft bend in the knees. And now bring the hands to your shins. Inhale, lift halfway so the spine is parallel to the earth. And then exhale, soften forward. And now press into the feet, bring the hands to the hips. Pull the navel towards the spine as you inhale and lift with a long neutral spine, slowly making your way up to standing. Taking your time, taking a few deep breaths here as you adjust to standing. And now as you next inhale, draw the shoulders up towards the ears, and then exhale as you roll the shoulders back and down. Moving with the breath, inhaling as the shoulders come forward up towards the ears, and then exhale, shoulder blades move towards one another and down. Breathing as you release any tension or tightness you may be feeling here. And rolling the shoulders once more and releasing the arms. So we'll start off with a simple mountain pose as we prepare to move into standing balance. So take a peek and place the feet right underneath the hips. And lift the toes away from the floor, and see if you could spread the toes wide. And now slowly lowering the toes down one at a time, starting for the pinky toes and then moving towards the big toe. And don't worry if a couple of toes land all at once. Good, and now bring your attention to the bottoms of the feet and really ground through the feet, feeling the support from the earth beneath you. And as you press into the feet, begin to engage the legs. Engaging the legs, but keeping the knees soft so that they aren't locked. And now bring the pelvis into a neutral alignment by lengthening evenly through the abdomen and the lower back, tailbone reaching down, keeping a natural curve in the lower back. Now lift the ribcage slightly away from the hips, creating a little more space. Broaden through the chest and move the shoulders down the back. Lengthen through the head and the neck, bringing the chin parallel to the earth. Standing tall in simple mountain pose. As you next inhale, lifting the arms out to the side, slowly pausing at shoulder height to turn the palms to face upward. Breathing as you continue to bring the arms overhead, bringing the arms shoulder width apart. Reaching long through the fingertips. Draw the shoulders down and away from the ears. Standing tall in simple mountain pose. And from simple mountain, we'll add a balancing mountain, coming into extended mountain. As you next inhale, lift the heels of the feet away, rising onto the balls of the foot. And then exhale, lower the heels back down. So we'll lift and lower here a few times, exploring your balance. And each time that you lift, you could challenge to hold in the lifted position just a little bit longer, and then lower the heels back down. And now lifting the heels and coming to hold a little bit longer as you breathe in and out through the nose. Finding a focal point on the wall ahead of you, a spot that isn't moving to fix your gaze and attention. Keeping the breath flowing. And if you wobble or need to lower the heels and try again, that's just fine. One more breath here. And then exhale, slowly lowering the heels back to the earth. And then exhale, gradually lowering the arms to your sides. Pausing at shoulder height once again, and then turning the palms to the earth, lowering the hands down by your sides. Relax the arms, notice, receive. Be aware of whatever it is you're feeling without any judgment. So we've started off balancing close to the earth where there's less of a fear of falling, and gradually moving up to balancing on 2 feet, and now we'll move on to balancing on 1 leg. So feel free to position yourself near a wall if you would like to hold onto a wall or a heavy piece of furniture as we move into balancing on 1 leg, and we'll start off in crane pose. So begin in your mountain pose, standing tall with the shoulders relaxed. And we'll prepare to shift our weight onto the right leg to begin. So really press into that right foot, engaging the right leg. And begin to lift the opposite heel off the floor. And then lifting that knee and extending the arms to the sides. And then exhale, lower back down. So we'll lift and lower a few times, preparing to ease our way into balance. And now coming to hold. So keeping your standing legs strong, pressing evenly into the inside and the outside of that foot. And bending the left knee in line with the hip. Giving a soft bend to the shoulders, elbows, and wrists. Again, finding a focal point at eye level to fix your gaze and attention. Keep breathing. You're welcome to add the Ujjayi breath if you like, or breathe naturally in and out through the nose. One more breath here if that's available. And as you exhale slowly and gracefully, releasing the foot, releasing the arms down. Relax the arms, breathe and receive. Notice how one side of the body feels in relation to the other. And now getting ready for a new experience on the other side. Preparing now to balance on your left leg. So strengthening that left leg, grounding the foot into the earth. Begin to lift the right heel off the floor. Extending the arms to the sides and then lifting the knee. And then exhale, lower back down. Again, inhaling, lifting the leg. Exhale, lower down. And now that you've practiced a bit on this side, we'll come to whole crane on this side. Lifting the knee in line with the hip. Shoulders, elbows, and wrists are relaxed. And again, being patient with yourself. If you wobble or need to move in and out of the pose, you may notice one side is easier than the other. And if you want to practice, you might want to try holding onto a wall for a moment and then letting go. One more full breath here, and then exhaling, slowly lowering that foot back down to the earth, release the arms. Take a breath or two here in stillness, noticing, receiving these sensations of release. So now we'll move on to a little bit more challenging balance, where we'll flow from one balance pose to another. So we'll start off in crane and then we'll add on. So again, standing tall with the feet hips width apart, getting grounded. Relax the shoulders, standing tall. And now shifting the weight into your right leg. Find your focal point, making your way into crane. Breathe. And you're welcome to stay in crane pose. You could move in and out of the balance, or you could join me in some variations. So begin by bringing the right hand across to your left knee. Reach long through the left arm. And we'll twist now to the left side. So exhaling, twisting, open to your left side. So I've got a little wall in my way here. So you could keep that left leg long, the left arm long, looking over your shoulder, breathing. One more breath, and then exhale, slowly unwinding, maintaining your balance as you come back to center, bringing the hands to the hips. And now extend that left leg long in front of you, flexing through the foot. Holding and breathing. You could challenge yourself to lift the foot a little higher on each breath. And now bending that knee. Exhale, release the foot to the floor. Relax the arms, take a few breaths here. noticing how one side of the body feels in relation to the other. Receiving the effects of these poses. Now giving that right leg a little shake to release. And then we'll prepare to move on to the other side. So I'm going to turn sideways here. So standing tall in your mountain pose, preparing for a crane on the other leg. Standing tall, relax the shoulders, finding your focal point, and now shifting your weight into your left leg. And bending that right knee as you move into crane. Keep breathing, relax the shoulders, find your focal point. And now we'll add the twisting variation. So bring the opposite arm to take hold of the knee, and then twisting through the torso, turning to the right away from that knee. Breathe. And slowly unwinding, bringing the torso back to center. Bringing the hands to the hips. And straightening that leg in front of you. So again, it's fine to wobble or move in and out. You could take hold of a wall and let go. Breathe. One more breath here. And exhale, slowly release the right leg down to the mat. Release the arms by your sides, palms facing forward. Close the eyes or gaze softly. Checking in here to receive your balance poses. Noticing any energy, sensation, emotion. If you notice any feelings of criticism or judgment arising, see if you could put them aside and replace them with compassion, curiosity, and patience. Give a shake to one leg and then the other to release. And now step the feet a little bit wider than hips width apart. We'll release with a swinging twist. So keep a soft bend in the knees. We'll start off small and then we'll make the movements a little bit larger. So begin by tapping the opposite shoulder with your hand, giving a little twist just to the upper body and torso. You could turn the head from side to side or keep the head facing forward if that makes you feel lightheaded. So you can stay right here. If you'd like to move a little further, give a little bend to the knee as you twist the torso to one side, lifting the opposite heel off the floor. So bending the knees as you move through center and twisting from side to side. So you could come back to the simple shoulder tapping if this doesn't feel right for you. If this feels good, you may wish to release the arms and let them float from side to side. Finding your own pace here. Breathing. And now begin to make each movement a little slower and a little bit smaller. And gradually find your way back to stillness. From here, we'll prepare to head towards the floor. So standing tall with the feet hips width apart, relaxing the shoulders. And inhale as you lift the arms out to the side and overhead, bring the palms together to touch. And then exhale, extend the arms to T position at shoulder height, hinging forward into a forward fold, relaxing the crown of the head. Bring the hands to the shins and inhale, lift halfway so the spine is parallel to the earth. And then exhale, soften forward. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Bring the hands to the mat and lower one knee at a time, making your way down into a table position. And from table, we'll move into child. So bring the big toes together, bring the knees a little bit wider than hips width apart. And now send your bottom to the heels. You may wish to allow the head to hover. You could rest the forehead on top of the hands, or you may wish to bring the forehead all the way to the mat, keeping the arms extended. So you could experiment with any of these variations in child. Another option is to bring the hands back by the feet with the palms turned upward. So be sure the knees are wide enough apart so there's plenty of space for the belly to breathe. Make any adjustments or try any other variations of child pose Garbhasana that will feel good for you and allow you to release your spine. One more full deep breath in child. And now bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, palms to the floor, and very slowly lifting yourself up out of child. And from here, we'll make our way onto our backs for final relaxation. So turning around and bringing the feet to the floor with the knees bent, and roll your way onto your back for relaxation. Coming to lie on your back with the legs extended. And you're welcome to place a cushion underneath your knees. You may like to cover yourself with a blanket. You could put on socks or any extra layers of clothing if you like. And just make any adjustments so that your body feels at ease for the next final minutes. You're welcome to rest the hands on top of the belly, or you can relax the arms by your sides with the palms facing upward. Invite the eyes to close. Drop the shoulders a little bit deeper into the mat. Lengthen through the back of the neck by tucking the chin slightly. And then letting go, allowing your body to relax into the earth. Bring your attention to the parts of your body that are in contact with the mat. Again, allowing yourself to sense the earth beneath you. Feeling how the earth has supported you throughout your practice. And surrendering the weight of your body towards the earth. Imagine your body sinking down towards the earth as if you are lying in sand. Feeling safe, stable, and supported. And lying in stillness as I guide you through a brief body scan. Bringing your attention to the crown of the head, down through the face, sides, and back of the head, down the neck, softening the neck. Soften through the chest and upper back. Relax through the rib cage, the front, back, and sides of the rib cage. Soften through the belly and the lower back. Relax through the shoulders, down the arms, wrists, hands down through the tips of the fingers. Soften through the hips, pelvis, down through the legs, to the ankles, tops and bottoms of the feet, and down through the tips of the toes. Allow the entire body to soften and relax. And inviting the mind towards stillness. Resting and receiving the benefits of your practice. Very gradually now begin to deepen your breathing, making some small movements with the fingers and the toes. Allowing your awareness to expand as you return to the safety and comfort of your body. And now bending one knee at a time, drawing both knees in towards the chest. And coming to roll over onto your right side, resting in a fetal position. Taking a moment here to acknowledge your efforts and dedication. Reminding yourself that the benefits of yoga come from your practice, efforts, and determination. And now pressing your hands into the earth and mindfully making your way up to a seated position. Sitting tall with the eyes remaining closed or gazing softly downward. Check in to notice how you're feeling now compared to the start of your practice. And reminding yourself that you can always connect with your breath to find peace and stillness within chaos. Whether the chaos is barking dogs or national news. Now bringing the hands to prayer position in front of the heart and dropping the chin to the chest. Om Shanti, peace. May the peace in our hearts bring peace into the world. Softly allow the eyes to open and lift the gaze. Namaste. I honor the light in you.